Welcome. In this CallCabinet how-to video, I will walk you through the functionality of CallCabinet's homepage interface. I will discuss its various features, as well as how you may customize the interface to meet your needs. Let's begin. When a user logs into CallCabinet, they will log into the home page, and it is from this page that they can navigate to the different functions inside the CallCabinet application. CallCabinet's interface can be broken up into three distinct areas. Number one, the menu panel, which is on the left-hand side. Number two, the page banner, which is at the top of the interface. And number three, the details panel. Inside the details panel, information will be rendered that will be useful for the user that has logged in. The menu panel on the left-hand side is fixed. To understand what each icon represents, hover your cursor over each one and a pop-up will appear informing you as to the function that will occur when you press on that icon itself. Moving to the page banner of the view, the very first item on this page banner is a drop-down list. The name that is currently displayed in this drop-down list is the name of the account the current logged-in user has logged into. If the user has permission to log into more CallCabinet accounts, then they are able to click on the circumflex of this list, and from the list of accounts that they are allowed to log into, they may go and select that particular account. And in doing so, CallCabinet will log them into that account. Moving to the far right-hand side of the page banner, you will see that there are three icons. The rightmost icon is the current logged-in user's profile. By either hovering or clicking on the avatar, the logged-in user is able to look at their profile. The first line of the drop-down tells them the account that they've logged into. The second line, their name and email address. The third line allows them to go and select what language they'd like to have visible on the screen. The fourth one is, would they like to enable multi-factor authentication or not, so the logged-in user can decide upon that. The logged-in user may also change their password if they would like to change their password. And finally, if the logged-in user would like to log out, they would click the log out button, which will take them out of their CallCabinet account. Should the logged-in user be experiencing a problem with their CallCabinet account, they are able to click on or hover over the second most right icon and a support drop-down will pop up. From this support drop-down, they can click on the support portal button, which will take them to either the support portal, in which they will be able to enter their request for assistance, or an email client will pop up. And inside that email client, they can then go and type in the request they want. If the logged-in user is not understanding certain aspects of the CallCabinet interface, they are able to go and click on the CallCabinet User Guide button, which will navigate them to an online user guide. By them reading this online user guide, hopefully any of their queries will be answered. Likewise, if the logged-in user is a partner user, they may click on the partner user guide should they require any further information regarding the partner portal. The logged-in user is able to change the look and feel of their screen. To do so, they would go to the third most right icon and click on that icon, and then from the drop-down, they are able to select which mode they would like to apply to their interface. So, for example, the current mode that is being shown on the screen right now is a light mode. They can then decide, no, they would rather like to have the dark mode. So by clicking on the dark mode item, the dark mode will appear. And if the system has been set up with a specific mode, they can select on the system mode as well. Please note that any of these changes that are made to this particular icon will be associated with this logged in user alone. So each logged in user is able to determine their own look and feel. Moving back to the left of our page banner, you will see that there are a number of tablatures on this page. Now selecting that tablature will take you to the different portals. Which tablatures are being rendered here will depend upon your account. So clicking on the recording tablature, which by the way is the default, will allow a user and an end user to fulfill their functions of managing their calls. If you have an analytics license and you're an analytics user, then you would click on the analytics tablature to go to that particular portal. And likewise, if you're a partner user, you would click on the partner tablature to take you through to the partner portal. Clicking on the recording tablature and ensuring that you are in your home page, you will see that there are a number of widgets which are displaying metrics relating to your account. So for example, the first widget is a call counter widget, in which it's displaying a number of metrics regarding your calls that have taken place on this account. Over the last hour, or calls today, or calls last week. In fact, it even shows you whether you are up or down for the same period from last month. On the right-hand side, you can also see the call volume widget. And this call volume widget can be rendered in 3 different time periods. The default is the this month period. You can then go and select from the drop-down over the last 4 weeks, and it will then show you the call volume in terms of weeks, or you can look at months where you can look at the last 6 months and the call volume per month. Likewise, there is also a user activity widget, and underneath this activity widget, metrics are given about the users that have logged in over the last 14 days and what activity they have performed. And the activities that will be displayed on this bar chart are the number of logins that could have occurred by this user, the number of calls played back by a particular user, and the number of quality assurance completed by this current user. So for instance, this particular user over here, if I hover over the dark blue, will tell me that this user has logged in 93 times, and if I hover over the slightly blue line next to the name, it says this user has played only 1 call in the last 14 days, and this user has performed 3 quality assurances in the last 14 days. Similar to the call volume widget, you're able to change the date range of the logged in user activity by clicking on the circumflex for the range. You can select 14 days, which is the default, or you can select the last month of who has logged in over the last month and their activities that have taken place. And likewise, you can decide, I would like to see what's happened over the last 6 months. Depending on the role that has been granted the logged in user, they may or may not see the security logs widget. The security logs widget is a useful feature in that a person who has the permission is able to see what activity the users actually did on the account at a slightly more granular level. So they are able to go to that particular user and then they can click to view that user's activity by clicking the view user next to that user's name, and they can go and see all that activity that has taken place. You're also able to sort this table for any of the columns. I'm just going to select the log type column, and I want to see, did this particular user do any deletion when they logged into this account? And by pressing on that and filtering according to the deleted log type, you can see all the behavior of deletion that this particular user performed. Let us return back to our home page now. Not only is it possible for the logged in user to change the look and feel in terms of the user interface colors, they are also able to change the positioning of the widgets for their particular account. To do this, all the user need do is move his cursor to the widget they're wanting to move, and when it changes into the cross cursor, they can click their leftmost button on their mouse and drag that widget to the position they want it to appear in. Not only can the user change the position, but the user may change the size. They may want this particular widget to be right across the screen. So in order for them to do that, they take their cursor, move it to the bottom right-hand side of the widget, left-click and drag that widget across. Immediately, CallCabinet rearranges the screen to make sure that everything fits in place and looks right. The last aspect to discuss about the home screen is to do with a very small checkbox that appears right down at the bottom left-hand side of the details panel. And this checkbox has the word "Show this page at login." If this checkbox is checked, it means that whenever the user logs into their CallCabinet account, this home page will be rendered. However, if they uncheck this checkbox, and if they have the permission, they will be taken straight off to CallCabinet's call listing page. If they do not have permission to enter the call listing page, then they will be taken to the home page automatically. So lastly, remember that any changes made by the user to this home page will be applicable to this user alone. This concludes CallCabinet how-to video on how to use CallCabinet's home page. See you in the next video.